In today's episode, we're sculpting this, which means we're carving this into this. We'll show you how we do it, work some mad detailing magic, recap our sculpture, and give you dessert with dazzling cinematics. Looking for top 5 entertainment in just 40 minutes? Then stick around. Hey, good morning, good day, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, City Sculptor, and you have made your way back to Pengasas Bay. Great to have you here. Thanks for coming back. And we're looking at the subject of today's build. This is going to be called the Hickory Heights neighborhood. We have a big demand for residential right now, really coming on the heels of our industrial and salt harvesting build that we did last episode. And this looks like the perfect place to put in some new houses. I'm going to start off with some sort of a grand entrance in this area here. I want it to be stately and elegant, really inviting as you come into the neighborhood. And then as we transition to the other side of the neighborhood, you've got this freeway that runs down along the river's edge here. I need to create some sort of an access point that drives into the neighborhood from this side as well. Now we'll have to keep in mind this space down here. You can see my keep out signs, and that keep out is an oil industry that's just begging to be built in a future episode. And then as we make our way up the hill, you've got this big hickory forest that's just screaming to be harvested in some later episode in a timber and logging industry episode. So that really leaves us with a good size space that gently makes its way up this hill. We can eat into this forest a little bit here, and this nice big flat area here, between these two industrial areas that we're going to have in the future. Now, just as a reminder, we are a new channel. If you see something that you like today, make sure to drop us a comment. Really love hearing from you. And chip away at that like button. And hammer that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest from Pengasas Bay and the Gran Vanillica series in general. Now, looks like we've got just about 1,400 subscribers. Let's see if we can push that number up to 2,000. All right, with that as a backdrop, let's do this. Okay, so diving right in here, you can see we've got this big interchange here off of the freeway, and then we've got this oil area here. So I need to bring a large arterial type road that runs right up through this space here, close to the oil fields, and then bends its way up to here because I'd like to put in a trumpet interchange somewhere up in this area. Maybe a trumpet that feeds into a nice roundabout that gives you access down the shore to the oil, into the residential, on up to the woods area here for our lumber industry. And then just gives us more options. So let's start by doing that. I think, I've already got this 6-lane road in place. I'm going to delete that. I had put that in as a reminder, as a placeholder during last episode. Again, if you haven't checked out the salt harvesting industry down south of here, you better check that out. That was a pretty cool episode. But anyhow, so let's take this 6-lane road and we'll make it a 6-lane divided road because it's going to see some pretty heavy traffic, I think. We'll have that come down along here near our oil fields. And then we're going to bend that up a little bit. We're going to come out maybe 168, come up, maybe about the same distance, just to kind of put it off in this direction here, heading up towards where our trumpet's going to be. And that way it gives us a target to shoot for. When we're coming off of that trumpet, put it into a roundabout, and then we'll have a way to come down into this area. I can see us having access in a couple different places from this oil field into this six-lane road here. And then this 6-lane road, we're going to bend that. We're going to bend that back kind of into this direction here, because that's where we're going to want to have our roundabout. So let's prep the land here a little bit for that roundabout. We're going to come in and pick a nice area right in here. This is probably a good spot. Grab this elevation here, and we're just going to flatten out this space up here just to create a nice landing pad for our roundabout. We're going to slope ourselves up there, so we're going to grab an elevation down here. That's better. Give us a nice approach coming up that hill, that rise to this roundabout area. And we can figure out what that roundabout looks like. I think I want to do something to the effect of, let's call it, I'm going to come out and go 64 maybe. Put this back on. Yeah, 64, and then I can come back into the center here. There we go. Let's come out 32, come out 32. And then when we build our roundabout, you actually come out here, turn this guy off, turn this guy back on, and it's going to go out 36. Yeah, 36. That gets you to the center of that one, 36 by 36. That's a good size roundabout now. And if we want, we can come back in here, bring that 6-lane road out from the roundabout. Let's just bring it out straight. For now, we can come back in and beautify, maybe make some gentle approaches. There we go. And now I can curve that road in, and we should be in business. Sure. See if we can try and bring that up. Yeah, 72 is fine. Okay, cool. So now we've connected this main road up into this roundabout here, and that's a good place to start. Now, the next thing we're going to want to do is put in a trumpet interchange coming off of this freeway, connecting us back into that 6-lane road that gives us access from this side as we make our way back through. So let's start by jumping in and grabbing our freeway tool here. Let's just grab that guy and build a nice little gentle curve coming through here that matches what's going on the actual freeway itself. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then we're going to want to create an overpass. So let's see here. Let's take our brush size down to about 60. If I bring that up close to the freeway here on both sides, is that going to be high enough to span? I think the answer is probably yes, but let's find out. And now I've got to blend this back down with a nice gentle curve. So we're going to slope tool from picking the elevation off the end of that one and come here and bend back around. And let's see if we can connect that road in, that road in nice and neat with a loop here. So hang on with me and let's just make that happen. Yeah, that looks a lot better, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got that in place. At least now we've got something to attach to. So let's go out here and find a place to put that roundabout. I think it's going to be somewhere kind of in this area here. So if I put that roundabout in here, I'll have access from the freeway on this side, from the 6-lane road on this side. I can stem one down that runs down along the shoreline here to connect to our oil industry, and then I can create another access point coming up into our forest up here. Let's tackle that now. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, so now we can work our way into that as well. Okay, so now let's attach all of those roads. There, what do you think of that? Now let's tidy it up by getting rid of all those extra crosswalks and stoplights and so forth and see what we've got. All right, there we go. Now when we come back in later on and detail that's going to be a beautiful roundabout, and it looks pretty functional too. Now off camera, I came in on the other end and did the same thing down here. So now we're set up all the way through this area with these big roundabouts to give us good access to the freeway back over here to the east and then also to the south. So we're in good shape. So next I want to come in here, and I think we leveled off this little space here to create a green belt along this massive road, because there's going to be a lot of activity and traffic on this big, huge 6-lane road, especially with that oil industry right across the street. So I want to come in here and drop in some trees. And I'm really kind of starting to fall in love with pines and spruce just because they stay green all year round. I think that's one of the challenges. I'm playing again on the Barrier Isle map. This map is, while it's a warm weather climate, it has a very long extended fall and winter and spring season. So everything is kind of that rusty brown color look I don't know. I want to have some greenery. It just seems like the seasons need to be fine-tuned, certainly on these warmer climate type maps where you shouldn't have this extended period of brown foliage for as long as you do. But we'll just make do with what we've got. We've got some bushes and shrubs, and so I planted a bunch of pines and spruce in there. And what we'll see is over time, those will fill in nicely, and we'll have this nice little buffer area. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the next step up here. And the next step up, let me grab my terrain tool. You'll see that there's just some gentle terrain lines that are in there. And I want to make sure that it's a big enough space, because this is where I intend to have a number of our services residing. So there's a couple service buildings that I want to use here. Let me do this just so we can see what they look like. I'll grab a gravel road here and I'll just throw that down. Not that we're going to use that in the future, but let's just see how the size of some of these. I have to put in the obligatory medical clinic down in here somewhere. So it's not a huge building. You can see it's not massive. Crematorium, we want to make sure we have one of those tucked in here. Again, not a massive structure. You want to have an elementary school, which is a good size building here. Yeah, that's not too bad. Police station, firehouse. Again, I don't think those are going to be huge assets. We'll probably be okay just with the size. One of the things I did want to put in here, though, is a welfare office. And so let's take a look. That's a pretty substantial size building. So maybe that'll be, best sitting in this corner here, or maybe it's tucked into this corner here, kind of away from, all of the hustle and bustle. And then there's a park maintenance building that I think is really kind of elegant. Let's see, where do we find that here? Park maintenance depot? I know it's silly, but it's this nice curved look. In fact, I'll just go ahead and drop it down just so you can see what it looks like. That nice curved front there. And so it's kind of a neat little look. Maybe that's a good building to sit up on this curve. You're going to have a curve that comes sitting right along here. Maybe we'll drop there so that the curve of the building plays into the curve of the road. I don't know. I'm going to want to put in a post office because it sounds like postal is, somewhat repaired, not a huge building. So we should be able to put a lot of services kind of running down along this strip in here. We'll break it up. We'll vary it a little bit, but at least we know we've got a big enough area where those services can reside and should be able to fit. Now, our road structure, I think we're going to want to jump in and we're going to want to build something that cuts into the different layers. In fact, I think I might even need to raise this area up in here. So let's just go ahead and tackle that right now. Now, with that terraforming complete in that area, I think we can come in and start building out some road networks. So, we need to create some good access points. And I think you've got, again, 1, 2, 3 major tiers. We should probably bring in a road that comes into this space here and create another internal roundabout to just start diffusing traffic off in a variety of different directions. So with that being said, I'm going to grab a gravel road here to start because I want to create some sort of an impact point on this major road so that I can set in one of those pre-made roundabouts. So let's do that. Let's grab that. We'll grab one of those big pre-made roundabouts, drop that into that space. And now we've got kind of a good anchor point for us to come in and build a different roundabout there. Yeah, now we got rid of all the unnecessary crosswalks, and we've got a really nice, beautiful roundabout here in our little village that we can tidy up. Oh, nice and neat as well. All right, so like I did earlier, I just temporarily parked all of those service buildings we want to get into this space because I just want to get a feel for what they all look like in general. I think there's some beautiful buildings here. And I think one of the other reasons I wanted to do that is just to see what fit in where along this ridge. Because I think as we come down into this ridge, I want to start with our services, by the way, down here on this first tier. And, I can tidy up this landscaping a little bit. I'm going to have something that tucks in down here and then, work my way down along this line here. And I think I said I want to have that park maintenance building down over here. So let's start to build in our road network that would support having all these services. Well, that's pretty stately. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. And then we'll just come back in here and peel it all back just to tidy it up. There we go. All right, we'll do more of that in the detailing time lapse. But now we've got a frame set for our services area. Let's see here. And maybe this guy comes right down into this, right down into this little spot right here. Yeah. And then let's see here. What's our next building we want to put down in here? Maybe right on the corners where we should have an elementary school. It's going to need a big space back here, and I think that's probably a good spot. Look at that, tucked in right there. Oh, I like that. Yeah, that's really cool. Of course, have to come back in here with another small road and reattach Let's see if we can work this magic. Okay, now let's return to our little shopping mall of services down here that we can pick and choose from. And off camera, real quick, like I did mess with that key wall mechanic and got this nice retaining wall running through here, connected up over here, and then I did the same thing down over here. So we've just kind of established some boundaries there. Now I want to grab a police station. The police station I want to drop into this space right here because I think it's going to be a really nice asset to kind of work in with, with that theme. This opening area as you're approaching, it's kind of got these old crematorium and this old police station in here. And you get your elegant school that's sitting back up in there. And I think that's a good complement in that space. And then next thing I'm going to want to do here is I got to drop that big welfare office in, and that's a huge asset. So I think it'll work really well in this space here. First thing I want to do is I want to grab a large parking lot. I'm going to drop it in here. And the reason I want to do that is because I think we're going to have a lot of parking demand when it's all said and done. And so I'll just grab then a road to run up along the other side of it, the opposite side of it, just so we can see, where do we need to have that road? If I bring that up here like so, then I can reorient that parking lot. We can create some walking paths over to the school and such. And then it'll also serve really well for helping out with this welfare office, just to have some extra parking in this space too. If I drop that in there, I think that looks pretty good. I think it'll be a good spot anyways for it. And then I'm able to, I guess I hadn't even thought of this, but if I wanted to run that alleyway back there, could I? Yeah, I sure could. And then maybe I can soften this up. Just keep that alleyway running along just below that retaining wall. Maybe we can put some walkways to get up and down there too. All right, so let's come in now with a road behind the welfare office. And let's see, can we connect up to that? Yeah, we can. We can connect up to that alleyway. And now I've got a little patch back here to drop in some of our other assets. So let's come back in here and we'll go maybe at an angle like this. Put that right into there. Yeah, so let's do that. We can bring our road out just a little bit to connect up here. Yeah, and then that'll give us access to that road. So it's a nice curve that kind of matches what's going on here. Yeah, and I think that makes for kind of a lovely entrance to this side of the community as well. Okay, so with all those services that are in there now, I want to focus our energies on this next tier. And in that tier, I'm going to have a mix of medium-sized density, some row houses, some commercial, some mixed-use buildings, and so forth. And I want to put it in 2 blocks. I want to have a block over here and a block over here. And in order to do so, I want to grab, let's see, I'm going to grab this, just a regular 2-lane road. Let's just start, let's check terrain. Yeah, it's nice and flat. Let's start in this corner here. And I want to go out about 160 or so meters. Yeah, that's probably fine there. And then, these are grids. These are going to be blocks, but they're just going to be kind of angled ever so slightly just to give them a little bit more interest. 64 meters is good. Let's do that. And then I'm going to come across with an alleyway just to, frame up that box. We'll come up on the other side and match that or mirror that. Yeah, okay. Now we're in good shape there. And I want to then, come up and put in a couple of alleyways that run through the middle of this. Maybe let's go here. 5 in, or with 4 in. Okay, that's good. That's fine. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side. And that's good there. In the center here is where our row houses are going to be. And, I think we can put quite a few of them in here. And there'll be a nice little, walkway path down the middle. And then I want to maybe come in here with a sidewalk just to, prevent all of this, grid nonsense from happening over here. Because I want to be able to build in that space too. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Put another little sidewalk in there. Yeah, okay. We're going to want to build in there. And then let's see here. To get in to this space, I'm going to come down from here. So let's grab a 2-lane road from there. And can I just work straight down into this? Probably can. So instead, let's just come up from this side in here. And now I'm going to ask a really silly question. Can I put a small roundabout in there? I sure can. That'd be cute. All right. So then we've got that set up. And I can come in here and do something similar on this side. And with the parking in place, now we can come in here and start painting out our little neighborhoods. And I want to use this European 3D medium density row housing. Boom, just like that. And we're going to do the same thing on this side, just like that. And those will fill in those center blocks. Let's kind of come down here and see if we can do the same thing on this side and drop in the 3 deeps. Okay, good. Good. So those will be the centerpieces of our blocks. With that in place, I'm going to come in here and dot in little tiny shops. Let's grab some low density business. We're going to just bring in, let's see here. Let me see if you can even just do a 2x2. I don't know if you can. Oh, you can. Okay. Well, that's all right. Well, then maybe that's what we do here. Let's just drop in a series of 2x2s all the way down along this road. Yeah, like that. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, on the sides are where we're going to want to put some some medium-sized residential. And we're staying with that European theme. We're going to go to residential. We're going to go with medium density EU housing. And let's do a 2x3 there. Let's see if that'll spawn. It does. Okay. And then I'll do a 2x2 on this side so that they're coming in the same amount. And then I'll drop in a 3x3. Actually, I'll drop in a, what do you call it? Mixed use. Mixed use 3x4. What is that going to look like? Yeah, that'll spawn in there. I'm sure. Okay, with that spawning in, that'll be really nice because then I think we can come over here and let's see here. Let's do another 3x. Actually, can we do a 4x4 mixed use in here? I bet we can. Yeah, that'll be a nice big presence in there. And then I think I'll come in with a medium density right in here, a nice little 3x3. And another nice little 3x3. Yeah. And then I'll come back in with another mixed use. And okay, yeah, 2x3. Does a 3x3 even spawn? No. Okay, that's fine. But that'll give us some good variety there. And then we'll come back over on this side. I think we did a 3x4 over there, just right up the middle. And then we'll come in with some smaller, something like that. Now that all of our row houses are filling in there, we can come back in and just add the remainders so that it fills in nicely. So all that we've got going on over there, let's replicate it over here. Now with this space filling in really nicely, I do like the way that that's going. Let's turn our attention back to the back 40, so to speak. All right, so this is this is a large forest up in here, and in the future episodes we're probably going to have some logging industry going in up and around in this area. But for now, let's come in here and turn our focus onto these 2 roads. This road here, I'm going to want it to come up and wind along here and create kind of a nice scenic forest road through here. Come up and around and into that. Okay, all right. I'm going to start from the top this time though. Start from up here and work our way back down. What kind of road is this? Just a regular 4-lane. All right. So we're going to come up here. We're going to put on our continuous curve, bend down into here, make our way down into this little notch here. And then we're going to sharp curve around that. And it's this little forest road that is just making its way out. I'll come out here like so. Connect back into there. Yeah, and then we've got this nice winding forest road that kind of carves through a little bit of the terrain there. Let's create a connecting road, just a regular small road, 2-lane road. We'll come out of the center. Yeah, maybe come out here just a little bit, just to start there. And on this side, maybe once we get to into this area, because this slope will be a little bit more forgiving, I think. About a 3-degree slope, sure. And now we can take a road and kind of craft this along this ridge line back here. So that road now comes off of this main road, and it's our cut-through road that meanders along that ridge line and over to the other main road back here. Let's build out a road network for that now. And this will give us the opportunity now to come in and again, build some homes that are going to be overlooking this whole Bay Area there, and you don't have to see the post office. All right. So another thing I want to do is I want to drop some high-rise type stuff back in here. So let's maybe grab this terrain tool, and we're going to... And then, again, your larger estate homes are going to be kind of more in this space, angling off, looking over here, because eventually our downtown is going to be kind of over in this area over here. And so I think, having the high rises up along this ledge is not going to obstruct anybody's view, really. So I think that'll be really nice. Okay, let's continue working on the road grid here. And yeah, that should be nice there. And now we can come in with some smaller roads and create some unique custom lots. I'm going to want to grab kind of alleyway out here. I'm going to turn off a lot of the snaps here, turn them all off, in fact. And I want this to meander around through here. And really just create a unique lot shape for a lot of these homes that are going to be up here along this ridge line. And we'll follow this kind of the contour of that, cliff edge that's making its way through there. I'll bend this out. In fact, I'm going to bend this out like so. And then I'm going to have it come all the way out to here. And then we can come back in and terraform there just to give us some more leveled off building space. And then there's, I think I'll connect this thing into this roundabout here. Yeah. And so we'll have some good sized lots up here for single residents. Yeah. Okay. I think that's going to be really nice. And then let's just go ahead and start painting in North American low density housing up here. And let's just build in some bigger homes. And then, now that we've got some of those growing in, let's jump on over here. I think I said I want to put some high rises in over here. And to do so, I'm going to try a little landscaping trick for starters. Now we can come in with some mixed housing, or should we do... Yeah, maybe that's what I'll do. Boy, what does a North American mixed use housing look like? Let's drop that in there. And this one we'll put in here. And then I want to do a North American high density housing. Just a nice big 4x4 right smack in the middle there. So that should be kind of cool. And then I'll put some shops in behind it. Now it's filling in really nicely. So this feels like a really good place for us to jump in and start doing a detailing time lapse. We're going to need to let the game run for quite a bit because, we planted some trees along this green belt down here. And I want a lot of these homes to fill in up top here. And then I'll come in and decorate all these spaces down in here and just, tidy up some of the terrain artifacts. But, all in all, I'm liking the way that this is looking. Why don't you go ahead and sit back, relax, enjoy the time lapse, and let's connect back here afterwards and we can recap our build. Welcome back, and I give you Hickory Heights. Hickory Heights was our residential build that we did today because we had a big demand for a lot of residents coming into the city because of our big industry and salt episode that we did last episode. If you haven't seen that one, make sure to check it out. It was definitely worth watching. Let's just jump right in because we've got so much to take a look at today. We've got this beautiful trumpet interchange that is our east side of the neighborhood access. We built this in right along the river and buttressed that up with a couple of retaining walls in here. I think it turned out nicely, and as you can see, the traffic's going to flow very smoothly coming in and out of the east side of the neighborhood. And then continuing on down, we've got this big roundabout here. Now, the roundabout is designed to be, kind of overkill for this stage of the game, but that's okay because we're gonna definitely tax this thing later on. You can see the center is depressed down a little bit with some beautiful decorative plantings. And then we've got this road that's running off down over here, which is going to tackle our oil field in the south of the build. And then we've got all of our demand from our residential neighborhoods coming in on a couple of angles here. And then also, as we make our way up the hill, we're going to have logging industry up here in the future. So this roundabout needed to be designed to make sure it could handle everything that we're going to throw at it in later episodes. Let's jump in here and take a look at our services district. As you recall, we've got this park maintenance building here with this beautiful curved edge, following the curve on the road. We've got fire and we've got medical. We put in our welfare office and, kind of framed that up nicely with this retaining wall, be front and behind, and then a little walkway that comes across. And then, of course, we've got this big, beautiful elementary school. I really like the way that this turned out. We've got all the expansions and the child clinic, and then we've got the playground and a couple of basketball courts in there. So that should be really good for the kiddos here in this area that are looking to further their education. We've got a police department tucked in back down here, and then, of course, our crematorium. That was a nice little statement piece early on just to give us a little bit of an elegant entrance into the community. Well, let's go further into the community and take a look at these blocks. Now, we've got the two blocks here, 1, 2, and, I think those turned out really neat. You've got the European-style row houses that sit in the middle, and the different colors and so forth, and different textures. I think that's beautiful. And then, of course, they're framed up, bracketed, if you will, by this medium-density residential and some mixed use. As we make our way down into here, there's a little walkway, like a little backyard pathway that comes through here, just to give some, a nice little green space break in the middle. And you can't have a neighborhood without a neighborhood bar. Limsa Bar is open for business. All right, let's jump up and take a look at this low-density residential. And I really think this is going to become a desirable part of Pengasas Bay because it sits on this little ridge overlooking, if you can see down here, this lower area back here, which, if you look at this great little lot here, in the future, you're going to have downtown visible over here. You can see all the way over to Gateway Village with all the cruise ships coming and going. And so, unless I miss my mark, you might want to scoop up this house soon because I think the property value of that one's going to go right through the roof. All right, let's move over here and take a look at this little addition or modification that we made. Yeah, jumping into the time lapse, we had this really tall skyscraper in here flanked up with some North American mixed use. I just didn't like the way it looked. It looked out of place. And so I decided to push back those high rises, that condo tower and some European mixed use, maybe took it back about a block and dropped in this soccer field in front of it. I just think it gives better definition in the space between the upper tier and the medium tier and the lower tier. It just really kind of helps define it a little bit better. So anyhow, welcome addition to the neighborhood, and I think all of the all the families here are going to really enjoy coming to watch matches at the soccer field. And then, of course, we have to come down here and take a look at our top 5 design element. The entrance, the south entrance to the neighborhood, we built this big, beautiful roundabout, kind of similar to the east side, and just a slightly different decoration element going on there, but I wanted to make sure it was beautiful. And of course, everybody recognizes the Pengasas Bay logo. Yes, our Pengasas Bay parrot is there to greet you as you come into Hickory Heights. So I thought it was a nice touch that added into the crematorium, the Pengasas Bay logo, and the decorative roundabout here. All right, well, that's going to wrap up today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. And just as a reminder, we are a new channel. So if you saw something today that you liked, leave us a comment. We love to hear from you. Make sure to chip away at that like button and hammer that subscribe button to stay up to date on all the latest from Pengasas Bay and the Gran Vanillica series in general. Now, you're going to want to stick around for those cinematics, and I'm going to bid you a fond farewell. With that, good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.